I was approached by Texas Parks and Wildlife and the Friends of the Brazos about the possibility of establishing an official state paddling trail from the Brazos River, Highway 67, down to the Sandlins, which is 10 miles downriver. And it's a pretty neat program. You have to have official designation by the state of Texas, and so they did a site visit and they looked at what we've got, and they said that we're ready right now with the sites as are to start the trail. But what we would do is, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the city or the county or the city and the county or what form it may take, but basically we need a local government entity to sign an interlocal agreement with TxDOT to give us control of the land under Highway 67, and that would be an access point to the river. And then Parks and Wildlife would set up kiosks and signage on the highways, and that'd help us promote and market with an opening event and a website and that sort of thing. We would be the closest river trail to the Metroplex. So I think this could really be something big. And the way it's laid out right now, it'd be 10 miles with the possibility of expansion further downriver. And when we're talking about the property under Highway 67, we looked at it, and the only issue right now is some drainage to make it more accessible for people to drive in and park. And that, I think, would be pretty easy to do. There's also some grant money through Texas Parks and Wildlife to help with this project. So what we're going to do is they needed some local government entity to kind of spearhead it. And so the CBB has volunteered to take up the initiative. And in a perfect, ideal world, this can be a joint project between the city and the county. If the county should choose not to want to be involved, then the city could do it. And there's in your packet there's the Luling paddling trail, which is similar to what we're going to do. This paddling trail isn't all within the city limits of Luling, but they entered into an interlocal agreement with TxDOT for them to have access and control that property. And I've got a copy of that interlocal agreement. So what I think and this is also just kind of give an example of what Parks and Wildlife has on their website as far as the trail, the access points. They want to promote the local tourism attractions, also the local river shuttles and outdoor places that we've got. So, we're really kind of a unique position in Glen in that, most places when it comes to tourism, they're pretty locked in with what they've got. And we've had an opportunity over the past few years to actually expand our tourism inventory with Dinosaur World, with the Riverwalk coming on board, with the lake that's going to open up here in another year or two. And I just think this paddling trail would be a great additional part of that inventory.
And Billy, now I have a question. I think it would be a great thing to do. But if we sign on to it and we sponsor it, are we responsible for keeping it clean and everything, or how?
Yes, but there's two groups. There's the Friends of the Brazos, and then there's a group, I think they're called the Dallas Paddling Coalition. It's a huge organization, 300 or 400 members. And they both expressed interest into entering into an agreement with us to where they would have people that would volunteer to help with that upkeep. And they're also willing to go as far as help financially with the project. So I think in talking to them, what they'd be looking at doing is hiring somebody part-time to be responsible for cleaning that up. And then, there's going to be some issues. I know that nobody wants another lower bridge situation where there's people hanging around and drinking beer and just down there. And I really think that with this kind of program where we're actually going out and trying to attract those outdoorsmen and those more professional type people, if anything, that'll help us control that situation. Because right now, anybody can drive in down there. I mean, the day we were there were 3 or 4 other cars parked there that people were, messing around the river. So I really don't think that would be a huge issue. And also, I think, lower bridge before my time, but that's something that built up over generations to become what it is. And I think if we took this and kind of controlled it from the get-go, we could prevent that.
And you said that they would help with the cost. Do we know what the cost would be?
Well, the costs are going to be pretty nominal. The cost is we have to pay for 2 kiosks, which I think we're talking about probably $1,200 there. There'd be one on each end of the trail. and then whatever it's going to take to kind of control the drainage. And because right now, when you go off whatever road that is down under that bridge on 67, there's a couple of really deep ruts. But the Parks and Wildlife looked at it and they said they thought that would be easy to control and contain. So I don't think they're looking at a whole lot of money. And they're not looking for a lot of bells and whistles, as far as creating a park or, a lot of infrastructure. They said both locations right now, as is, that they would approve them.
Talking about the east and west of the bridge, both sides.
No, it would just be on the west side. And then it'd go 10 miles down the river to the Sandlins, which they've got a little campground and I think 160 acres down there. And we visited with the Sandlins. Of course, we'll have to have an agreement from them to be involved. But in our initial meeting, they expressed an interest and said that they would be.
Does the water district need to be involved in it too, or?
I don't think the water district does. The river authority might be involved in some way. But in talking to Parks and Wildlife, all they need to make it work is a local government entity, whether it's the city or the county, to work with TxDOT, and then an access point on both ends of the river, and that's what we would have. And of course, the next kicker is we have to get TxDOT to agree.
How much room is down there, Mark?
I was surprised it's quite a bit, yeah. But unless y'all slap my hand and tell me no tonight, come back in June with a lot more formal presentation and more information. And probably have some folks here from Friends of the Brazos and some of the local river people.
I, for one, like to see you pursue it.
Okay.
It's something, especially with an outfitter here now, it's part of the
their
community.
And when we went on it, we went with Mr. Cathy, who's one of our canoe rental places. I mean, they're all for it. It's gonna help their business. It's gonna help everybody's business.